Hi, I wanted to hop on here and just let everyone know what I've been up to the last few years. I just received a package in the mail, and so I wanted to share that with you about what I've been working on. But before I do that, let me just go back, let's see, about 6 years actually, to 2019. 2019, I went into the Peruvian jungle, into the Amazon, to sit with Mother Ayahuasca. I needed to unpack some things in my life. And so there were 5 ceremonies. And for the first ceremony, there was a lot of healing, a lot of understanding. And for the last ceremony, I didn't really have anything more to ask of this plant medicine. So I simply asked, what should I do with the rest of my life? And she was very clear and very quick. She came back with, write a book on numbers. And so, I left the jungle, came back to life, came back to real life, the complexities of life, and I integrated that for several years. And then I guess probably in the spring, around the spring or so of 2021, so that's a little over 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, I started to work towards not necessarily numbers at the time, but it was really just trying to understand the mysteries of the universe. How does it all work? I've always been fascinated by that, fascinated by getting to a deeper core understanding of how our reality works. And then, a little while after that, I slowly focused on numbers. And over the course of, I guess, about a few years, I gathered up, I had many, many notes. I had over 1,000 pages of notes and thousands of calculations. And I thought, well, I think I have enough maybe for a book. So about a year and a half ago, I started compiling the book. It was a long process, an equally long process of going through the publishing process. And I think it's here now. So that's really what I wanted to share with you. This particular book that I've been working on. So let me just open this package up, and we can unpack it together. So like I said, here's my book, or at least I hope it's a book. So I just wanted to open up that very carefully. And here it is. Here is what I've been working on. The book is titled Decoding the Mysteries of the Universe. And there's the front, and there's the back, little information about myself. And in the front here, you can see there's a really nice image. And this is actually created by a local artist in the Ottawa area called Sarah Beth Barrett from Source Expressions. And I will put her link in the description or the comments. So this is what I've been working on. So what is this book? Decoding the Mysteries of the Universe. It is a grand title, no doubt. There are many themes in the book. There are 5 major themes, but there are many, many puzzle pieces that have come together. So the first main understanding that I had was on how to quantify vibration, and more specifically, how to quantify the vibration associated with numbers, larger numbers, and also how to quantify the vibration of words, and more explicitly, the English language. So there was a method called the frequency root method, which has been revealed to me. And there's also a more simplified version of that allows for to quantify a word. So any word, or groups of words, or phrases, or numbers and words together. And so on my website at arianway.com, there is a link at the top called Frequency Root Calculator. And you can click on that, and you can put in words, or you can put in numbers, or whatever you like, and it will quantify that in a very unique way. And there's a link that describes the methodology of the frequency root method. what I found when I calculated thousands and thousands of frequencies for words and phrases is that the English language is not a random association of letters and words. Even though it's coming from different cultures over long periods of time and it has evolved, the words and the spellings of the words we have today are very much synchronized with the geometries and the vibrations of the universe. So our universe had an initial, or at least our galaxy, had an initial seed, initial set of blueprints. And these blueprints permeate everything. And we can see it so clearly in things like the spirals of seashells and sunflower seeds, or the seeds in pine cones or spiral galaxies, or how certain molecules fit together in terms of the geometries of the chemistry. So language is another one of these manifestations of this initial blueprint, this initial seed. And so there's a lot of that in this book. There's a lot of this revealing of these words and these phrases or groups of words, and you can see how these frequencies are not random. So the spellings and the words are not random. There are patterns there. So that's the second big theme. The third big theme is moving beyond Fibonacci. So we have this Fibonacci series that mathematically describes these spirals, the spirals in seashells, the spirals in galaxies, and it is a simple pattern where each number is the sum of the two previous numbers. So it's very simple, and you can just keep adding numbers that go on forever. So you can start with 1, and so we can put like 1 and 1 together, and then the next number would be 2, and then 3 and 5 and 8. So each number is the sum of the two previous numbers. And there are different kinds of patterns that mathematicians and others have discovered within the sequence. And there's a similar sequence called the Lucas series, which starts with a 2 instead of a 1, like the Fibonacci. So what I've seen is that this Fibonacci series or Lucas series are just a subset of a larger series, which I call the Phi series. And there are patterns within this larger Phi series, including the Fibonacci and the Lucas series. So there's an algebraic equation that arises out of this Phi series that can describe another kind of relationship within there beyond the simple summing, of two numbers to equal the next number. And there's actually a mathematical paper which I have published. Well, it's not in a published journal. It's on a preprint server called Zenodo, and I will put the link. The link will be in my bio. And there's a second math paper which is also on Zenodo, which is a European website. And in this particular paper, it describes the blueprints. So we think of Fibonacci or Lucas or this expanded Phi series as having this core pattern, which we call the golden mean ratio or the Phi ratio. But there's something even more fundamental to that, in that every Fibonacci number, every Lucas number, and all these expanded Phi series numbers are all composed of 3 fundamental blueprints, which are 3 core numbers, which are related to geometry, related to growth, and related to even the fine structure constant in physics. So that's another big revelation in the book. The fourth main revelation is how sound and form are related. Now we know through cymatics, where you can take a metal plate, you can sprinkle some salt on there. Underneath that metal plate, you can add a little motor that vibrates, and you can hook up a frequency generator to it. And you can modify the frequency of the vibration of this motor, which vibrates the plate, which vibrates these little salt crystals or any kind of sand crystals. And what you'll notice is that through cymatics is that different patterns, geometric patterns, will form depending on the frequency. So But so we have this frequency related to form. But can we quantify this? And what I've seen is that the solfeggio frequencies, or I can say the expanded solfeggio frequencies, known as the Solfeggio Matrix, which was put together by G.W. Hardin, is directly related to this Phi series. So there's a beautiful mapping, numerical mapping of the solfeggio frequencies, which is sound, and the Phi frequencies, which are form. So we have sound and form related numerically. And there are many other synchronicities in the book. It's filled with synchronicities of these puzzle pieces, all interrelated. These numbers that really make up our reality, or make up a lot of this our universal structure. And the last revelation, which was very surprising, and I wasn't even looking for it, it just came to me at the very end of compiling this book, was how, or I guess I could say what the awakening code 1111 is comprised of. So many people along their spiritual journey see this 1111 code, and it's almost this signal, this vibration that says, wake up, wake up. And it is so obvious when we see these symbols, these 4 bars, this 1111, repeatedly, that it beckons us to ask more. And that initiates many, many people into their awakening journey. And then they continue to see that along their journey, along their path. And I see that a lot as well, even today after many, many years. But 1111 is not just a symbol, it is in fact a number. And so it is a vibration. And what I found is that it's actually comprised of 7 sub-vibrations. Or you can say that the 1111 code, if you apply it through a prism, what would be refracted out are 7 frequencies. And these frequencies are related to geometry. They're foundational numbers in physics and mathematics. And there are a few other interesting ones as well that are a little more obscure. So that was a wonderful revelation as well. So that's really what I've been up to in the last 4 years, or the last, maybe more explicitly, 1.5 years of compiling this book. And like I said, here it is. It's a nice picture. There's a lot of complexity in this thing as well, so it's very interesting. Anyway, it is available on Amazon today. If you go to my website, arianway.com, and the link will be in my bio, you'll find it on the front page, and there's also a link called My Book, where you can find it there and order it either through Amazon around the world, or you can order it through Ingram Spark if you're in the United States. And it will be available on all major retailers relatively soon. And that's it. Thank you.